was a strange sight. The lights flickered, air traffic halted, and for what seemed like an eternity, no one really knew where this strange blue light was coming from.
Yeah, our phones here at News 4 started ringing off the hook. Callers asking what's going on. Now we know the source. A transformer explosion at a Con Ed substation on 31st Street there in Astoria.
We have live team coverage this evening. News 4's Checky Beckford is at that damaged substation in Queens. We want to start with News 4's Michael George in Astoria. Michael, I know you've been talking to a lot of people who saw this bizarre sight in the sky tonight. What do they have to say, Michael?
Yeah, Stephen, people saw this here in Queens. They saw it in Brooklyn. We saw it from Lower Manhattan. That explosion lit up the night sky, and it also lit up social media as everyone was wondering just what the heck they were seeing. Now, this is the source of that fire. The lights in the sky came from a transformer explosion in Astoria. You can see what looks like bluish flames and smoke pouring out of the plant. Those lights were visible in at least 3 boroughs. New York City's night sky was glowing for several minutes. Cars stopped to look at the bluish-green lights flashing across the sky. Some people in Queens told us the lights actually flickered in their homes. Many went outside to gaze up at the sky, and nobody seemed to know the cause at first, but everyone was trying to guess. What did you think when you saw this?
I was thinking it's the end of the world, like something's going to happen to New York.
The electricity went off, that was obvious, but then the lightning in the sky was very intense, so the combination made me wonder what this is.
There was some sort of UFO or something.
And of course it was no UFO, but the transformer explosion did cause the power to go out at LaGuardia. The terminals were dark. People had to use their cell phones to light their way around. Even once the lights came back on, the FAA had to inspect the airport and their systems before they could reopen. Now, people already on board their planes had to disembark with the sky still glowing blue behind them. One passenger tweeted their pilot had to abort a landing. We spoke with several passengers.
You could see from a pretty decent distance from the airport that there was a large light in the sky. It didn't look like a real fire. It was like greenish blue. And then when we landed, we heard that there was no power in our terminal.
And we are still getting many, many reactions from social media from all across the city. It seems like nobody will really forget this night for a long time, the night that the Northern Lights, or at least something that looked like it, came to New York City. We're live in Astoria. Michael George, News 4 New York.
Like something out of a sci-fi movie. Michael George, thank you very much. Want to go down to News 4's Checky Beckford at that Con Ed substation in Astoria. Checky, we understand the fire is out now, correct?
That's right, Stephen, and there are no injuries. If you take a look behind me here down on 31st Street inside the Con Ed substation, you can see there are still flashing lights down there. We saw an FDNY engine head into the area just about 20 minutes ago. They returned. They seem to have left for the most part earlier in the evening, but returned again a few minutes ago. Not clear what's happening there. If you take a look out here, though, you can see there's some police officers standing guard in front of the facility, because over there to your right, you can see the large group of looky-loos, spectators here who basically come out after this happened, still trying to get some answers in terms of what happened. As you mentioned, the FDNY received a number of calls, numerous calls, they say, from people reporting an explosion in LIC and Astoria. Take a listen to some of those transmissions from emergency officials right after this happened.
All right, Super Town, we have multiple boxes out right now for an explosion. We're 8th floor at the Con Ed facility. We got a transformer fire down here. Yeah, there's a high voltage emergency going on in the Con Ed plant. Heading that way now. Can we have a representative from Con Ed meet us out?
Now, Con Ed says there was a brief electrical fire at the substation here on 31st Street shortly after 9 this evening. It involved some electrical transformers and caused a transmission dip in the area. Con Ed crews responded along with FDNY, though it appears Con Ed, for the most part, handled the fire internally. They say it was a short, brief fire and that the fire was out shortly after the explosion. Now, again, back out here live, we can see a number of flashing lights inside the Con Ed facility, which is down here on 31st Street near 20th Avenue in Astoria. And we expect them to be here for much of the night. Still more answers we're looking for in terms of what caused that explosion. Con Ed says it is investigating at this point. But again, that, they say, is what caused that blue light over New York City that had so many people wondering what it was. We're live in Astoria tonight. Checky Beckford, News 4 New York.